What's shaking, friends? This is Andy coming to you again from here at my Daily Funk Club headquarters. And yeah, right on. It's a beautiful day. Just went for a walk down by the river with my little furry family and my wife, and feels good to get some fresh air and get outside. And now I'm happy to be back inside, and I'm going to make a little demo video for you. I just got this instrument back in the swing of things because it went home to its creator, Leonardo Bosquez, and he did a little tune-up for me on the instrument, you know, kind of like a one-year tune-up as a brand new instrument. And he just went through and, you know, dressed up the frets a little bit. You know, they were sprouting a little bit. You'll have that. And that's just how things work. So it went back, the neck went back to him, and he just did a really killer job of dressing out the frets and sent it back and put a new logo on the headstock, because before this was a prototype, and now since then he's finalized his headstock logo, which is really cool. It's a fingerprint, and put the logo on there and dressed up the frets, and I brought it back, popped the neck on. Took me about 10 minutes maybe, and here we are. This instrument is really special and unique. None of my other basses sound like this. It has its own character and its own personality. There's a lot of special things about it, and I'll just go through the specs real quick. It has a maple neck and an ebony fingerboard. The ebony fingerboard is very influential in the way that it has a very bright tone. That's definitely a significant contributor to the tonal personality of this instrument. Also, the way that it plays. It's got low action. It's real fast. Maybe my fastest bass I own. Just put the strings on. It has a light swamp ash body and a hip shot bridge. Really nice hip shot bridge. Black hardware. The pickups are the original series Bartolini PJs, completely passive. Controls are volume, tone. So let's hear what it sounds like with, that was both pickups. Now we're on just the front pickup. Tone's all the way up. Let's bring the tone back to about half. Yeah. Maybe a sliver more tone. Yeah. Great front pickup sound. Now just the back pickup. You know, I was just doing this little thing that Victor Wooten taught me when I was out at his base camp the other day. He reminded me of something that's really, really cool. I'll just throw this in here while it's on my mind. It's called framing. At least I call it framing. He might have called it something else. Oh, he called it above and below. So you take a shape, any cluster of notes. You know, let's say I'm in the key of G. Right? That's the lick. You take that lick and play the same exact lick, same exact notes up a half step above tonic and then a half step below tonic, and then come back and resolve back to the tonic key. Creates this cool tension and release kind of a thing. And that's something that jazz musicians do a lot. Somewhere along in there I kind of moved around between G and A and E and stuff, but you get the idea. Grab a cluster of notes and just play it up a half step from where you're at, below a half step below the tonic key, and then back to one, and you've got a cool place to make a one chord jam kind of sound like it's going somewhere and coming back, and that's a great little thing. Anyways, getting back to the bass in this demo, I want to talk real quickly about the amplifier that I'm using. I just got this. This is the GR1 head and the 212 cab. It's got Neo. It's got custom Jensen Neo speakers in it. Weighs 49 pounds. Sounds fantastic. Let's see if we can get it to punch a little harder. Now, right now I have it in EQ bypass mode, which they call pure sound. Now we've got the EQ engaged, and I can do lots of cool stuff here. I'm just messing with the EQ controls. It has a 4-band EQ. Kind of boosting the bass and the treble and boosted the low mid. demo with this instrument. I really, really like it. It's got a very unique body shape. It's cool to be a builder these days and do something that's completely different that everybody else isn't doing. Meaning Fender copies, you know, Fender replicas, so on and so forth. I love them. I have many of them. They're my favorite, no question about it. But it's really cool, like, you know, Leonardo, like Bosquez, Leonardo here, he's doing something completely different. Kostad and Dimitrov and Sofia Bulgaria, my Mr. Plum bass, that's something completely different. Sheldon Dingwall, he's doing something completely different. You know, the guys at DNA Custom Guitars, my AIBB custom bass, that's kind of completely different. It's a little bit like a jazz bass. But, you know, this is definitely not like anything. And I love it. I love the way that the pickup configuration works, and I love that it's a passive bass. It's such a great, it has such a great tone for me. And I'll say it now and I'll say it again. Active basses are great. They do some really functional things in a live setting. Recording passive basses are better. It's just a fact. It's just a fact, Jack. A passive bass sounds better when recording it in a studio environment. And I like passive instruments a little bit more because of the dynamic range, because I play with a lot of nuance in my playing, from a very, very soft kind of thing to a very hard thing. And everything in between. And the passive pickups just sound better. I can set the amp in one place and I can just make minor adjustments to the tone control on the knob and the independent volume controls or the blend control on the instrument, and I can get all the sounds that I need and all the sounds that I want within all of those dynamic ranges. So that's why I like passive basses better. Now, most of my basses are passive active, meaning they have a preamp in them, and sometimes I use the active mid-range or the active bass on the instrument in a live situation simply because it helps me to hear myself and cut through the mix in that specific performance area, because the amplifier and the bass and everything becomes one big sound chamber, and your amp and your bass is not going to sound exactly the same in all the different performance spaces that we will go to and that we will play in. So having the active electronics is nice in that sense because I can boost up a little bass if I need it. I can cut a little bass if I need it in some cases, and I can also fiddle around with the mid-range. And that low-mid particularly, the low-mid is like where we hear the instrument. And if I'm not hearing myself, it's probably because there's something goofy going on in the low-mids. When I have low-mid, when I have a 3-band EQ on an active bass, I can fiddle around and maybe boost up a little bit of low-mid frequency, and all of a sudden I hear all the notes on my neck evenly, and everything's cool. So there you have it. I encourage you to check out GRBass, made in Italy. Really, really nice stuff. This amplifier is very, very cool, and so is the cab. And I encourage you to check them out. If you want to get a rig like this, they're doing a special deal right now through me. Tell them that you know me and that you saw this video or any of the videos. And the head is $895 and the cabinet is $1,100. That's significantly reduced from what it regularly is, apparently. That's what he told me. So yeah, cool. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for watching all the videos. Check out Leonardo Bosquez Custom Guitars, and you know, he makes this Tierra in 4 and 5. He'll make anything. They're custom made. I mean, the whole instrument is completely custom made. There's nothing that's done with the machine. You know, he has routers and stuff like that, but he doesn't have any kind of CNC or anything like that. So it would be considered a carved body, and you know, the neck is all shaped, and all the frets are installed by hand and dressed by hand, of course, and the neck is shaped by hand, and everything is done pretty much by hand or with hand power tools. So it's definitely a custom instrument made from scratch when you order it, and his pricing is pretty darn awesome based on the quality of what you end up with and the amount of detailed handwork that goes into it. All right, friends, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace.